Welcome to the Nostalgia Test Podcast, the show where two longtime friends put their mainstream pop culture past to the ultimate test, the Nostalgia Test. Blink 182 on the brain.
It's like playing in my left ear.
Oh my God.
Soundtrack. Well, not loud.
You're psyching yourself up already. It's there. Oh my God. We're here already. It's another episode of the Nostalgia Test Podcast. Welcome. I'm Dan Dissinger here in LA, and I'm here with my friend and co-host Manny Coelho over there in New York. How you doing, Manny?
What's going on? As they say in New York, forget about it. I'll tell you one thing I have to say during this whole thing, because we're recording this as the quarantine is going on and the shutdown of New York, right? I drove by on the LIE, Long Island Expressway, for those who are not from New York, Long Island. There's a sign, Dan, this is real, traffic sign that says, going out without a mask, forget about it. It's on an official highway sign.
Dude, this is what I'm talking about. Like, even before, like, I'm trying to stay positive, which is great to kind of then pull ourselves away, dive deep into these two albums.
When you had us do this one, it's been on. Nothing else has been on. And on the radio while I'm working and brewing and transferring beer and getting kegs ready, this has been on.
First, we chose the 1999 album Enema of the State, their first album to feature drummer Travis Barker, who ended up replacing, the original drummer Scott Rayner. It was released on June 1st, 1999. It peaked at number 9 on the Billboard 200, and they sold 109,000 copies in the first week. The really famous singles on that album, What's My Age Again, All the Small Things, and Adam's Song. Critical response was really good. But longtime fans really thought they sold out. And it sold ultimately 15 million copies, making them, at the end of the year, one of the biggest bands of the turn of the millennium. And then we listened to their release right after that, 2001, Take Off Your Pants and Jacket. Which I can't say that title without. I know the first title is ridiculous, Enema of the State, but Take Off Your Pants and Jacket is just ridiculous. But that 2001, Take Off Your Pants and Jacket, released June 12, 2001. The singles on that album, Rock Show, First Date, Stay Together for the Kids, debuted at number 1 on the U.S. Billboard 200 and achieved double platinum. First week was 350,000 copies, and generally positive reviews, but very weak and odd reviews of that album.
One thing I want to say before you go on with more facts is, if you look on Apple, this one, Enema of the State, come up as a genre rock. The second comes off as the genre pop.
These are two of their biggest albums, I would have to say. Even though right before Enema of the State, you had Dude Ranch. That was super popular with Damn It being a major
Damn It was in some really mainstream movies. Before that, when people said they sold out, I'm like, they were pretty much in mainstream with Damn It.
Yeah, Damn It was definitely mainstream, I would say. I mean, I couldn't go a day without hearing Damn It on the radio. That album was around. But we chose these two albums, and I was trying to think, why these two albums? Instead of going all the way to Cheshire Cat or, Dude Ranch and doing those two albums, we specifically went right to Enema of the State, the two biggest albums, and Take Off Your Pants and Jacket. So why these two albums, do you think?
I can tell you why I wanted to highlight these albums. One, the albums spoke to our generation and our age group the moment they came out. The songs in Enema of the State, in 1999, we were juniors.
Yeah, we were juniors, seniors.
We were juniors because we graduated 2000, so we would have been juniors.
Yeah.
I don't think I really got into the album until senior year. Right. A lot of the music in it was like things about us that we were going through at that point. And I'll get more to that, but then I think I chose to continue it with the second one because me and you really got into the second one, and I specifically remember people hating on the second one.
Totally.
Friends. But me and you would rock out. And maybe we were just rocking out just because we were blinded by whatever, because we just wanted to hold on to them.
Yeah.
Now that I'm listening to it, I'm like, wow. That's why I wanted to dive into it. I wanted to give it the test because what I recall, I used to think I liked Take Off Your Pants more because I thought it was more punk rock. But I will say I'm taking that all back because, dude, Enema of the State, I don't care It's punk rock, pop rock, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
What a fun album.
First of all, I remember Enema of the State specifically because 1999 I went to the Warp Tour on Randall's Island,
You
and
know, I never went to the Warped Tour.
bro,
I heard
well,
it was great.
don't go now. I mean,
Not
don't
now.
no. Then it was fun, like then it
Where
was
you could
crazy.
die.
Yeah. Well, yeah, when Randall's Island was like a sanitation deposit. Like it was
Yeah.
gross. It was like dirt. It was horrible. There was no reason to go there. I remember going with a couple friends and we were there to see Blink, but also, you have Suicidal Tendencies, was there. Less Than Jake was there. There was Eminem actually was there, but he got booed off the stage. People just like throwing plastic bottles at him and then he just walked off. I think he only played 2 songs or something. And then,
Perfect.
yeah, it was great. When Blink 182 came on, it was so amazing because it was great to be at a festival where the energy was so high. And that's why I remember this album so, fondly. And then re listening to it, first of all, this album's only 35 minutes and 17 seconds long.
Well,
Okay.
if you went to see them in concert, it'd probably be 20 minutes because they rushed through all their songs.
But like that album went by. Now, Take Your Pants Off and Jacket is 38 minutes and 54 seconds long. That album
Hmm.
felt like a lifetime. But Enema of the State was on. It was fun. It had those interludes that were hilarious. Exactly
Oh,
what I remember of Blink 182. And then it was over. And I was like, ugh, like that.
so
Let's just start it over again.
yeah, I felt you can't listen to the album in shuffle.
No.
It's an album you have to listen from
Yeah.
Dumpweed all the way to the last song. It is not meant to be listened to in shuffle because it was produced perfectly and each song went into the other. You
Yeah.
can't skip, you can't fade in and out because they did it for you. The song choice, everything was perfect. I thought it was great. And like for those people who said that they sold out, first of all, what do you want your band to do? They're there to make money. Okay, you could say there's passion. Yeah, they're doing their passion, but at the same time, they're there to make as much money as possible. Like,
Hmm.
okay, they sold out. What do you mean? They produced a really well played album and everybody decided to like it? Like, okay, F you then. Like, let them sell out.
Yeah.
Like, they care. I hate when people say it's like, so you like your band enough, but you don't like them enough that you want other people to listen to them.
It's really weird looking back because I do remember having feelings towards other bands being like, oh, this band sold out, this album's not good. But then again, I'm like, maybe they weren't selling out. Maybe the album just wasn't good, right? But then I was
Yeah.
like, they sold out. Where with this album, with Enema of the State, the album's good. It's without a doubt a great album, a positive listening experience, and brought me back to like why I love Blink 182.
What was your favorite song on it?
Okay, so I'm looking at the song list, right? And it's just so hard. One of my favorite songs, which I didn't give that much to listen to when I first had the album, was the last song, Anthem. It's such a great song.
Great song.
Yeah, it shows like the growth of the band because Dude Ranch is fun,
But it's
whatever.
raw. Deuterance is
Yeah,
raw, man.
and Anthem on Enema of the State is such a great way to close the album because it's like I'm not saying that they're growing up, but it's an evolving album. It evolved. They evolved. Their sound evolves. They become much more themselves in that album. I feel like.
I like that one. I like, I mean, obviously the big hits, like you said, was What's My Age Again?
Yeah.
All the small things, which proves again that bands just have to have a really easy chord. Like
Seriously.
most of the album, most of that song is na 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 na, right? And everybody, and like the rest of it, have you seen what the lyrics are? They're about nothing,
No,
right?
nothing.
But one of my favorites is the party song.
Okay.
The party song is amazing. I love how he starts it because he goes, here we go, motherfuckers. He does it all in one breath. The first couple of seconds or like lines were all done in one breath. And it was great. And because
Yeah,
like I'm looking at the lyrics and I'm like, he said all this in one breath? I was
I
like,
know.
that's crazy. So I liked it. I thought it was great. And it reminded me of like, just going to parties, man, like when we were younger and being in high school and in college too. It was kind of speaking to both the high school seniors to, freshman, sophomore
Yeah,
people in college. So I
yeah.
could understand why it did so well because everybody could relate to it in so
Hmm.
many different age groups.
You also have like an amazing drummer coming into the
Oh,
band. Travis Barker is still one of the best drummers out there. The drummer previous doesn't have the ability for the band to evolve to where it did. And Travis Barker does that. He gives them an amazing foundation as a drummer. So, Mark Hoppus and Tom DeLonge can then do what they do, which is be hilarious, write funny lyrics, and also play music that's there to have a good time with, right? So I felt like when I listened to Enema of the State, it brought me back and it was an enjoyable experience. I don't think there was one song on that album that I wanted to skip over. No.
No, I agree. Aliens exist. Really great. Going away to college, one of like basically a love note. So like, do you break up? Do you stay together? Even like saying goodbye to your friends. My niece is going to college next
Mm,
year. I almost wanted to have her listen to this, and I wanted to see what
mm.
she thought of it. Is she even listening to lyrics? Some of the lyrics were pretty good, I would say. Like, there was nothing wrong. Dysentery Gary,
Oh
like
my God.
ridiculous song. Reminded
Oh my God.
me of one of our friends. Not even
Yeah.
gonna say, but
Remain nameless.
definitely, yeah. We'll call him Dysentery Gary. But yeah, dude,
Oh, he's such a
and then
dysentery guy.
the slow part, you go from Dysentery Gary to Adam song, which
Yeah.
known to be suicide song, but like
Yeah.
at the end, it actually
Yeah.
wants you to live for tomorrow, and then like boom, all the small things hits you, and you're
Yeah.
just back up again.
You're back up.
It was a
Yeah.
lot until you got to that.
You're not a fan of Slayer, but a Slayer album is there is no break. There is no ballad. They don't believe in ballads. It starts, it punches you in the face, it ends, and that's the album, and you're left like, what just happened? But with this
Hmm.
album, it gives you that nice breather, and I
Hmm.
love that. And also, there's I forget if it's on this album, but I feel like it just allows itself to be funny. I mean, that was the one thing I miss about that time with punk bands or post
Hmm.
punk bands or whatever you want to call them. They had these little like interludes or cuts in there that were like little jokes and skits, and they allowed the audience to kind of have
Have a good
fun
time.
while at the same, yeah, and that's important.
I'm just like thinking about so many of the different things, just even the lyrics. Mutt, what a ridiculous like
Dude.
about people who are just terrible people. There's nothing wrong with this album. And I'll tell you that not only did it pass the test, it like blew it away. And
Oh yeah.
I have to say, and maybe I'm wrong, I say it's still going to be around from years to come. And if you gave it to somebody right now, they like at 18 years old, maybe they're not into the punk, but just have them listen to it. I almost want to test it out and just have them listen to it and see what they think and like whether or not it's just fun. It's just a fun album. Dude, I got transformed to that time. It was great. It was so good.
Yeah.
And remember the live album that came off of this album?
The
There was a
live.
live Blink 182 album where they played
Yeah.
this album. Dude,
Yeah.
I was singing the live album, like what they were joking around about in the songs while I'm listening to this album because the live album was even like, you should listen to that when you have a chance. The Enema of the State, Blink 182 tour, one of their live albums. And he's
Yeah.
like, they're just making fun of each other. And it was
Yeah.
probably the only live album that was really good to go see them. So remember we saw them with, Green Day?
Oh,
We
that's
saw
right.
them with
They
Green
did
Day.
play with Green.
Yeah, and they were
I
Russian. They were
totally
from
forgot about
Warsaw.
that they were there.
They Green Day opened for them because they were that big.
Oh, that's
And we went to
right.
see them. Yeah,
That
yeah,
was a weird experience.
weird. But Green Day killed it. And I remember saying they didn't want to rush off the stage. I feel like yes, Parker was a great drummer, but you needed to keep up with him. So
Hmm.
like you were just like rushing through the songs. But
Yeah.
you gotta listen to the live album. There's so many jokes
Yeah.
that even I was repeating while I was listening to this album. It's really good.
Yeah.
I hadn't listened to that whole album in so long, and I was so happy I did.
Right. These days we can choose so much music. When this came out, you had to buy the album, it was a CD, boom, that's it. Like the construction of the album is so important, but also that like sitting and listening to an album from front to back, it's so different now. People don't do that, but the experience of listening to this album from the first song to the last song was so amazing because I was like, it tells a story, whether it's a ridiculous story or not. It was told a story. It ended off on one of, I feel like, the strongest for them, for Blink 182, the strongest last song on an album that they've ever
Mm-hmm.
had. And it definitely left me wanting to like repeat, to like go back and play it again from the beginning. That was the sign of a great album for me. And I thought that it did two things really well. It would allowed me to be nostalgic while still allowing me to enjoy it as just an album.
Did you
And
realize that you memorized every lyric?
every single one.
Every lyric. Yep.
Every lyric. It was creepy as I was listening to it. It just it's like everything. And the thing is, like, being our age, like, it's so funny to think of these bands because we had gone to see them, and I forget when that was.
We were probably like 26, 20.
Yeah,
You
and
know.
then before that, I had seen them when I was 16. So now it's just like 10 years later when I when I go see a Blink-182 concert, but also seeing like what would the audience even be like at that concert? Because they still
So
tour because they have 2 new albums. They had come out
yeah,
with 2 or 3 new albums.
they're not that great. I listened to them recently, but well, maybe they're not that great for me.
There's a
Maybe
few
they are
songs
for
on them that are
you know.
fun and interesting, but they're a totally different band now.
I mean, I've been to other shows featuring bands that we knew when we were younger,
Mm-hmm.
and you have as good as the time as you put into it.
Mm.
So I go in the pit. Well, I don't know about now, right? But I was at Real Big Fish and I was at recently I was at Newfound Glory actually.
Mm. Oh my
And I didn't
God.
even know half the songs. I think I knew more Real Big Fish songs than Newfound Glory songs. But I had such a great time just because everybody who's there is either really young and they're just getting into bands like that, or and they're like they just know of these bands were like classic bands, or you have people exactly our age that are just you turn into a child, like you turn into the age you were when you first got into them, and
Yeah.
everybody was just having a good time. There was like people like knocked each other over, right? But then like laughing, hugging each other.
Mm.
Again, this is right before the crazy thing, but like it was such a good time. Like
Yeah.
there's something to be said about going to a band that you listen to as a kid with other people that age and like
Mm.
the pure nostalgia and like smile that you get in like a group of people
Yeah.
who know when they were at their peak and like how great they were.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
great. It was great.
Yeah.
So I'm sure it's great when they play this album and you're there, like I don't know about new ones, but
Yeah.
I've been to Taking Back Sunday too, and same thing. I had a good time because they were
Yeah.
playing old songs.
You could hear in this band though, you can really hear in this album and just Blink-182 how much they spawn bands like, Newfound Glory. I mean, I probably only know a handful of songs that are just the pure nostalgia songs from Newfound Glory, but what was fun about this, it felt like every song off Enema of the State was that. But at the same time, they're still good. Like they are, I would say objectively still good songs, still a great album. I probably would say it's their best album. I mean, I like Dude Ranch and I like Cheshire Cat, but I don't know. Like, I don't know if I would have put those two albums on if I was to be like really be in it. You know what I mean? And like this album though, like catches you immediately and just like wraps you into it. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, I recently then jumped into a playlist that was like not the best of them, kind of like all of them. Like
Mm-hmm.
it was called Family Tree. You know how they split up according to Asian Airwaves and
Boxcar Racer.
Boxcar Race.
I have
So
that
they
album.
played the best of all of them
Yeah.
plus this. So it was really interesting to kind of see where they went, their branch out, and then how they came back together and stuff. But yeah, so I would say let's move on to the next one. But I would say
Yeah.
this album definitely passes the test,
That
blows it
100%.
up, blows it up,
Blows it up.
and tells you to like introduce to anybody that you can.
I would.
And if they don't like it, they gotta at least understand it and
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Yeah, so I would say this one passes the test 100%. Now let's just get into the weeds here
I
of
don't
like
I don't want to go down to a downer, but this is definitely,
well,
you
yeah,
know.
2001's Take Off Your Pants and Jacket. Uh, I mean,
First of all, with it opens up with Anthem Part Two.
yeah,
So I'm gonna ask you that. You just said your favorite song was Anthem.
yeah, definitely it was
Now,
Anthem.
now, did you do this when you were listening to it? We're like Anthem to Anthem Part Two. Did you listen to it back to back?
What was funny was that you bring that up when I listened to Take Off Your Pants and Jacket and Anthem Part 2 came on. I had to immediately go back to Anthem 1 just to be like, did they just use the same chord progression possibly? I just needed to know if it was the
Yeah,
same,
just to see.
but
Me
it
too.
wasn't. Basically, I mean, it
It
was
wasn't.
close, but like, I like Anthem Part 2, but you're putting something at the top that's just called Anthem Part 2. No, you can't do that. I didn't like that part. It was like you didn't have a title for that song and you said, wow, Anthem Part 2 because we're talking about parents. I don't know. Like, it felt lazy. And the song, I don't know. It didn't hit me the same as like Anthem Part 1, which was I feel like a slow build to Anthem 1. And then it hits you with Anthem at the end of that
Hmm.
album. It's like, yeah. Where this
Yeah.
is just like, you can't start with the song called Anthem Part 2.
No,
No.
I wasn't impressed. Not to give a whole review of it yet. So I wanted to know what singles did you say came from this album?
Okay, so the singles on this album were Rock Show,
Okay.
First Date,
Yeah.
Stay together for the kids.
Okay.
Yeah.
So first of all, I'm gonna say this album was a pop album and only a pop album.
Yeah.
I don't know if there was anything rock about it at all or punk. It was Good Charlotte at its best.
Oh.
That's what it reminded me. Unfortunately. And I was so upset because I, for some reason, recalled this so different.
I'm
Maybe we were hanging out.
embarrassed to say how
Maybe
much I
we
love
really
this
love it.
album.
I know. Maybe, and we were trying to tell our friends that
Yeah.
they were like stupid. Yeah. And I'm so happy you made me just listen to this, or we both made each other just because, wow. Like, you know, there's a speech by Baz Luhrmann, and one part of it says like, when you're bringing up memory, it's you're fishing the past out of disposal and cleaning up for the good parts. I think that's all we were doing to her, just saying like, oh no, it was really good. Like, no, no,
Yeah.
no. There's like two, maybe three songs that could stand the test of time, maybe, but
Yeah.
no. I would say "Stay Together the Kids," in my opinion, was one of the better songs on this, just because I like the lyrics of the stuff and the music.
Yeah. I would say some of the best songs are probably towards the end for me, like Reckless Abandon and like even Please Take Me Home, like things like that were like more energetic. But all of these other ones, like I don't even remember what Online Song sounds like. I just listened to this album yesterday again and I still can't recall it. You know what I mean? Like it
Online
didn't
song is
stick.
like, "Guilty, you're mine. Shut the milk, the station."
Oh.
I'm listening to my left ear right now, and I'm like, "What is this?
That
What's
is,
this?"
no. No.
It was like I think they rushed it.
Well, I think that plus I also describe this album as the beginning of a long, painful breakup. This album was just, all right, guys, let's do this again. I'm really not here, really enjoying this anymore. Blah, let's pump out some of these songs and then whatever.
I don't know the history of
Yeah,
them. I haven't seen a documentary on them, but I would say this album was probably the record producer saying like, "You just sold a million, whatever, whatever.
yeah,
You're making another album and you're
yeah,
doing it now. We don't
yeah.
care. Get in there and just write something." Cause like, "Happy Holidays, You Bastard."
First of all,
What
no,
a
but
terrible song. That should have been like one of their first songs when they were like 15.
that should have been on the first album. But
Yeah.
but let me just say this. I'm gonna be honest. That song though, I was thankful for that song when I was listening
Really?
to it. This is why, because right before that song is First Date, their first single or whatever.
Yes.
And I'm just like, okay. And then this song comes on and I was like, hilarious. Great. Okay, good, right? It's
So
fine. Like I
first
thought that
date,
song was
first
funny.
date was written by Avril Lavigne, I think. Like,
This album feels like a love song to Avril Lavigne.
yeah. Do you remember this song? Didn't she? "I'm Just a Skater Girl" is
Yeah,
that's what she did, right?
yeah.
I'm just
She's
a
no
skater
Skater
girl.
Boy.
That's first date. It was like their answer to it was their
Their
answer
answer
to
to Avril Lavigne.
yeah.
I mean, it was just. I mean,
Forever, forever. Oh my God. It
it
was
just got worse and worse with this album,
oh
and it just depressed me. It felt like it took forever to get through it. I mean, it's only what 2 minutes and something seconds longer than the previous album, and it
yeah.
just felt for like they said forever. Yeah, they didn't have to remind me of how forever it was going to be with those lyrics, but I knew it was like never going to end ever. Like
Like when you make a copy of a copy, it was like the fifth copy of Enema of the State because like they had to put in another like Adam song type song, The Story of a Lonely Guy. It was like, oh, let's
oh,
do another like suicide song. And it's like, dude, really? Like
okay.
you already did that. You don't need to do another one.
No.
Melancholy, awfulness. Nothing compared to Adam
Yeah.
song.
That's hilarious. Like a copy of a copy of a copy of Enema of the State. It's weird because I do remember loving this album. I must have played this album over and over again. I mean, I must have played it so many times when it came out. I don't know what I was thinking.
I don't
I-
either. I mean, we were doing a lot of things then. Maybe because like, or that was a year after we graduated high
So
school.
yeah,
We were
2001.
trying to like relive high school like that early. I don't know. Like we were trying to force nostalgia on ourselves. I don't know, man. None of
Uh,
this is good. None of the
none
rock
of
show. The Rock Show.
That
What a
used to
ter-
be
that
a
was like
song.
that was a throwaway, what I call cheap cheers. Like Dave
Oh,
Matthews when he's like, "It's great to be in New York today," and you're like, "Ah!" Like they're like, "Oh, let's play a song that's about going to the Warped Tour." Like,
uh,
and people are gonna
seriously.
love.
First of all, I loved that song when it first came out. I was like, "Oh,
It.
this
Yeah,
is great." But then listening back, I was just like, "Ah, gross." I just didn't get why I liked it. Like you said, it was just a cheap shot to kind of get cheap applause. Yeah,
yeah,
like the Warp Tour. Hey, we're here at the Warp Tour. It's just like, yeah,
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
but like
Like
whatever.
we're gonna
Like,
write a song that's gonna like blow up when we're at the World Tour.
yeah, because like a bunch of people are going to want to listen to this. I was like, I don't know, maybe. I don't want to ever hear that song, I think, ever again. Okay, but here. Can I just say, I just want to say this. How old do you think Mark Hoppus, the bassist, was when this album came out?
See, because you're asking this, I'm gonna have to take a wild like craziness guess because you brought it up. 2001. How old is Mark, the bassist?
Yeah,
28.
yeah, you 29. Tom DeLonge is 26. I mean, the two lyricists, well, maybe Tom DeLonge's much more the lyricist or whatever, but this is what bothers me about this whole thing in retrospect, right? Let's just round it up, right? You're 30 years old and you're writing songs like online songs. 2 years ago, 3 years ago, the other album came out, whatever. It was silly, it was hilarious, it was fun. But this album, you're going to open with Anthem 2, and then you're going to talk about parents just and all this stuff. I'm like, you're 30, bro. Like,
Yeah.
all these things are way outside your realm. No, and it was so disingenuous. It just felt forced, and
Well,
these songs should not have ever existed.
again, I think it goes back to what we thought. Like it was probably like you need to do another album like this. We're gonna make you do this album, and you're gonna write to the teenagers. And they were no longer teenagers.
They
I
weren't
don't
even
even know if
they
one of them
hadn't
had a kid yet.
they
Like
hadn't been teenagers for
you
years.
know, at least they were closer to being teenagers two
Right.
years before that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm listening to Roller Coaster right now. I don't know, dude. Every song sounds the same. None of it sounds different.
That's why I appreciate Happy Holidays, You Bastard. Because it doesn't
it was it was
because it
different.
doesn't sound like any of the other songs. I love that song. I actually that will probably be the only song I go back to this album because it's just like it is the one song that's just like, yeah, they wrote this and it wasn't had nothing to do with the album prior to this. It wasn't like a B-side that never got on. It wasn't like a song that they
Hmm.
like had to throw on the ground and like that was like on the cutting room floor. This is a song they might have wrote and they're like, oh, this is gonna be fun in the middle of a 30-minute song.
The Happy Holidays, You Bastard is a song that one day Mark or Tom were they were playing live, and one of them wanted to make fun of somebody, or somebody was on a break, and they were like, and they just went and made up a song, and they're like, oh, that's gonna be on our next album. That's that song was made up that way.
That's
All
gonna
right.
be on your next album.
Yeah. Oh, we're gonna. You know what? We need a filler. A filler.
Yeah.
Okay. Where are we gonna put it? Let's put it number four. Number four.
That's the other thing. It's the fourth song on the
They needed
album,
a filler at
which
number
means
four.
which means they gave up 3 songs into the album. Like, oh boy, let's put this one in.
Yeah.
Those first 3 songs really sound alike. We need a filler. 4 songs, 3 songs in.
Four songs. Like, whew. Have you heard the rest of this album? This is the best. Is the second to last song is called "Shut Up." Basically, is what I feel like that should have been number four. They actually planned this all wrong. What should have been is "Shut Up." Please take up me home. Give me one good reason and reckless abandonment. Put it up all up in one, two, three, four,
Yeah, or just
and
put
that's
that
it.
out as an EP.
Yeah. We don't need the rest of the song because they're all the same. If you told me that couldn't hear any of these songs ever again, I would not be upset.
No,
Okay, I'm never going to listen to one of these songs again. If I listen to a playlist that says Blink 182 Essential, I'm going to write to the person who made that playlist and be like, you need to take off anything that comes from this album.
essentials. Everything on this album is
It's
non-essential.
not essential.
I just want to go back to Happy Holidays, You Bastard, and this is why.
Again, you're
This
stuck on this terrible song. This
because
is a
look at
joke
the
song.
order. Look at the order. First date, Happy
Yeah,
Holidays, You Bastard, and then hit him hard with that
yeah.
with that
Well,
ballad.
yeah, with the ballad.
But
They
like
needed
you went from a silly song, an insane, weird song about a person essentially
Christmas
pooping their
Eve.
pants in the end of the
Yeah,
song to going, "Hey guys, let's get serious."
of course. That's why I'm saying that this came from them touring together. If you
Uh,
listen to their live album, you'll understand. You'll be like, oh, that's this song.
yeah,
Like somebody that I'm just listening to it right now. Sorry, even the production of this album was like not that great. Like it was not good. This was
yeah,
rushed, and it shows.
yeah,
It
yeah,
shows.
yeah.
I don't even know what the actual album cover is, what it's supposed to be.
Okay, so
Yeah,
apparently they released this album three different ways with each thing first. Like, okay, wait, yeah, I know. You're
on a
looking at me.
plane.
I wish, oh my God, I wish everyone could see the face that Manny just gave me. But this is the best part about this album because no other
Oh,
album
this is
did
the
they.
best part.
Well, no. So the album was recorded over 3 months. So it took them 3 months to record this album.
Oh, that's it. Some people take a year or two. I thought you were going to say that they started recording after they did Enema of the State.
First of all, Wikipedia says the album's title is a tongue-in-cheek pun on male masturbation. This
Take
whole
off your pants and jacket. Cool.
okay, they had previous titles for this song. I had included "If You See K," a pun on spelling the word fuck, right? And
Yeah.
then "Genital Ben," accompanied by a bear on the cover of the album, a reference to Gentle Ben. That were the other two titles. And then the album's title was coined by one of their guitar techs, who was snowboarding on a rainy day. And then I guess he came up with this. Great. So that means
Cool.
that and that guy got a $500 payout for the name, and then he sued them in 2003 for the intellectual property.
Of a plane, a jacket, and some pants.
Oh my god.
What's the plane all about?
So the cover has three icons for each band member: a jacket, a pair of pants, and an airplane. The long and opposite symbols became the pants and jacket, respectively, leaving Barker the airplane despite begging his bandmates not to assign him the symbol, citing his fear of flying.
Didn't he get into an accident
Yeah,
shortly after?
absolutely.
He got into a fight. He almost like died.
Yeah. So they tried to really make it this a thing, I guess, with their
Like deep thing.
yeah, when really it wasn't. It was super shallow and,
Dan, let's go over this song you love so much, the filler. Christmas Eve, and I've only wrapped two fucking presents. It's
yeah,
Christmas Eve, and I've only wrapped two fucking presents, and I
right.
hate, hate, hate your guts. I hate, hate, hate your guts. I'll never talk to you again.
Right.
That's the opening of that song. It gets so much better though.
Of course it
Unless
does.
your dad sucks me off, I'll never talk to you again.
Right.
Unless your mom will touch my cock, I will never talk to you again.
Right.
Ejaculate into a sock, I will never talk to you
Well,
again.
that goes right on theme with
I'll
this
never
album
talk to you.
title.
Then it goes, wait, we're not done. That was Christmas Eve. Now it goes, it's Labor Day and my grandfather just ate 7 fucking hot dogs. Labor Day, my grandpa just ate 7 fucking hot dogs.
Right.
And he shit his pants. That's what they did when they did this album. He's always fucking shitting his pants, and I'll never talk to you again. Unless your dad sucks me off, I'll never talk to you again. Unless your mom touches my cock, I'll never talk to you again. Ejaculate into a sock, I'll never talk to you again. I'll never talk to you again.
Right.
That's the song.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
There was no thought. There was filler, and they put it in an album that you said went platinum.
Double platinum.
What song was played on Z100? I know.
See what
It was definitely the rock, right?
100% rock show and
Z100
state.
was like, yo, we're gonna play a punk band. And it's called Blink-182.
I love it. You're like a punk band. We're gonna play a punk band. Yeah. And then when they played
Elvis
first,
Duran's like, let's play the rock show by
yeah,
Blink-182.
yeah, he's never listened to it.
Triple album, triple
Right.
platinum.
Yeah,
Yeah.
first date and then stay together for the kids. Those are the three singles.
Wow.
No.
I mean, this didn't pass the test. Though. All it did was pass the test of how memories fog your brain sometimes.
I don't even think it's nostalgic.
No, it actually made me angry that I wasted this album that we could have talked about a good album. But not everything we're going to talk about we're going to like. But
Yeah.
I mean, you didn't like Cocktail, but
No.
you understood the nostalgia of it. This is terrible.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. Like, Cocktail is nostalgic. It stays in the nostalgia vault for me. Enema of the
Yeah.
State passes all tests. of everything nostalgia. It's still good, all that. Take your pants off and jacket. I am embarrassed that I
Yeah.
even had spent probably years listening to this album.
Yeah. I don't even want to go to Boxcar Angels in it because
No.
those
And
weren't good
I
either.
have
You got
that
me
Boxcar
into it.
Racer album.
Yeah. As we're talking about it, it's played like 3 times. Because I'm like going through all of them so quickly. And I thought we were still on, Story of a Lonely Guy, and now we're at Stay Together with the for the Kids. Like, it's all the same. It's just terrible, man. It
It was
wasn't good, and
terrible.
I would not tell people to listen to it.
Yeah, you
I'd be
could
like,
skip
skip over
this.
that.
Yeah.
Actually, like the next album, almost because they finally like, it grew up a little bit, and it was depressing. It was a very depressing album.
I sped through it afterwards and I was just
Yeah.
like, what is happening?
Oh, it was a depressing album. I kind of understood why they did it. Probably like what they were going through and stuff. I'm sure it wasn't easy being so popular, so in the
Hmm.
mainstream. I'm not saying whatever, wow, they made millions of dollars, but I'm sure if that's kind of not what you're used to, not everybody can be a great showman. Not everybody could be a superstar and handle the pressure of it. So I'm sure there's a lot to deal with.
Yeah.
So
They were done, I think, after that. Then they put an album out called Neighborhoods, which is weird sounding. And then I think Tom DeLonge left the band. And now they're with Matt Scarpa, I think, from the Ataris.
oh, really?
Yeah, so he
Oh, so
on the
Tom's
last.
not in it.
No, he's not in it. He's chasing aliens somewhere.
What?
Oh, dude, you don't know
Oh, so
these
he took
things?
like the aliens exist seriously?
Oh, well, this episode's about to go into an amazing place because he actually released those declassified videos that just came out about those UFOs.
Yeah,
Yeah, he actually leaked those first.
really.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
has spent all his money on this thing for finding UFOs and UFO technology and all this stuff. He has actually created this place where they're building and like working with UFO technology.
Wow.
Oh, dude, it's real. I mean,
I
he's
mean,
yeah, here it
wow.
is. He founded an entertainment company called To the Stars and he merged it into a larger To the Stars Academy of Arts and Sciences. The new company has aerospace and science divisions dedicated to UFOlogy and fringe science proposals.
Sweet. Cool. I'm gonna end it with this. So I'm
I'm just
looking up
gonna
Aliens Exist is a pretty great song though. I mean, so it probably was written by him.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at a list of what I didn't realize came out in 2005 was the greatest album. And I'm just gonna ask you this. I'm not gonna do all of them because I don't even know this one. Another Girl, Another Planet. Actually, I do know that. All right,
This is off their greatest hits album.
it's a greatest hits album. Blink-182, 2005,
Okay,
greatest
I
hits.
see it. Yeah.
Carousel, Eminem.
Uh-huh.
So it starts off with the classic.
Right.
Damn it, actually got, Josie,
Good song.
All the Small Things, Adam Song, Man Overboard, and of course, The Rock Show, First Date, Stay Together, the Kids. Feeling this, oh yeah, that was from the next album after.
Yeah. That was
Yeah,
a weird song.
weird song. I Miss You, which is
Yeah.
another depressing song. Album that came after was basically an Adam song for like every track.
Yeah.
Um,
After Damn It.
yeah, yeah, you're right. So
Yeah.
then Down was also from that, other album.
Mm.
Always, Not Now, Another Girl, Another Planet. Aliens Exist live in LA,
Mm-hmm.
so again, the live album in LA. It opens up with this song is about aliens because Tom is a Trekkie. That's what they said live. Okay. Was
Oh, yeah.
really into it.
Oh,
Jesus.
huge.
Wow.
And it pretty much, I think, took the band down. It's just like
I'm
took the
sure
band.
because like how much can you hear about that when you're trying to just make
Right.
music?
Right.
But then again, like it's really hard to be a punk rock band. I'm not saying that nobody's done it because there's definitely bands that have been able to stand. As you get older and things
Mm-hmm.
change, what are you singing about and how do you relate to an
Yeah.
18-year-old now when you're,
I think there's one example of a band that's been able to stand that test of time, and I think it's a band we're going to have to dive into as well. Is 311, who has not changed their lineup since they started, and they
Yeah.
still have every member of the band is still in the band,
Yeah.
and they still come out with albums, and they are consistent. You know, they're not that bad. They're not like Music or the Blue Album or, you know, things like that, but they're good, and they've developed their sound over a period of time.
Yeah, here's funny about 311 is that I don't particularly like. I like them, and I saw them live, and they were one of the best live bands I've seen live.
Mm.
It was a long time ago too.
Yeah, Jones Beach.
When
I
they
saw
did
them.
that. Like I saw them live in I want to not Webster Hall. One of the arenas in the city. And they did like a drum solo that's phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm glad to dive in it with you because I never really like downloaded their albums or ever really had any of their albums, but I've been around their songs because everyone that I've hung out with likes them and always played them, but I never got drawn to it. So I can't wait to do it just to kind of like, you're going to be nostalgic about it. I may just like come up like, oh man, I can't believe that was a song that they played, or oh, yeah, I know this song, you know, like it's kind of that kind of band to me. And I don't know what it is that during that time I wasn't really, like I said, I didn't hate them. I know that they played some really good stuff and they stayed relevant for a very long time. And there were, people were always talking about them, but I just never became like a huge fan of them.
Yeah. No, I think it's going to be interesting to kind of look at them too. Before we start, I just want to say some of the albums that came out in 2001, just because I sort of like compare the fact that like Blink-182 came out with this album, which is total garbage. Is This It by The Strokes, 2001.
Okay.
Amnesiac by Radiohead, 2001. The White Blood Cells by the White Stripes, which is a huge album. The really popular Shins album, Oh Inverted World, that came out in 2000. Yeah. For the Tool fans out there, Lateralis came out in 2000. Toxicity by System of a Down came out in 2001. I mean, these albums are amazing. Oh, The Invisible Band by Travis, which I love that album. That came out in 2001. I mean, 2001 was actually a pretty great year for music, and Blink-182 totally dropped the ball.
Well, they were stuck in like Popland.
Yeah.
So
didn't the second Chronic album come out in 2001? Yeah.
Which was phenomenal.
I mean, 2001 is a big year for music.
Yeah, it
and
is.
This
just fell on the wayside, even though
you
know it got really good ratings, I guess, during the time. But
it
would not do well right now.
No, it was riding the coattails of Enema of the State.
Absolutely, a lot of the people probably bought it because of that.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, so. People like us. So, Manny, final words, final things, like definitely Enema of the State passes everything. Excellent album. It was really fun to get back into that album. I'm glad we did that one. Reminded me everything I love about Blink-182 before that album even as well. But take off your pants and jacket. I'm going to leave my jacket on and leave my pants on.
I'm going to take that CD and throw it out. So, yeah, I agree. I agree with you. Both on agreement on this one. Unfortunately, we had to end it with the bad of the take off your pants, but I mean, it just came in that order. But yes, End of the State will always be with my opinion.
Absolutely.
I mean, even when I'm older, at least.
Yeah. Absolutely. It'll be an album that's going to stay with me forever. Enema of the State. Very great album. Well, that's it for this episode of the Nostalgia Test. Thank you, everyone, for listening. And yeah, we'll see you in the next episode.
See you later.
All right, hold on. Oh, wait. Cool. Thanks for listening to today's episode. Please subscribe to the Nostalgia Test podcast to know when new episodes drop. Don't forget to leave us 5 stars and a positive review so more people can find the podcast. Share your thoughts and memories on today's topic on our Twitter @NostalgiaTest and on Instagram @TheNostalgiaTest. Tune in next time because you never know what pop culture will pop up on The Nostalgia Test.